Hi, my name is Jason Greatorex. Welcome to Merida, southwest of Spain. It's Thursday, 9 o'clock and the 4th official trainings day. It's already 30 degrees Celsius, and with temperatures predicted to reach 40, it's going to be a scorching weekend. 32 nations are participating at the World Championships this year. Today and tomorrow is the last chance to fine-tune rigs, feeding strategies and tactics. We met up with the German team on Section E and we'll be looking over their shoulders for the next 4 days. And of course we'll be following other nations too. We'll be hearing more about the venue in a minute with Hungarian former world champion Walter Tamas. But first, let's have a look at Team Germany. Thanks very much for taking 2 minutes time with us.
Yeah, more than welcome.
Could you give us a few impressions to the venue over the last training week?
Yeah, actually it's one of the longest venue ever in the match fishing history. 5.5 or 6 kilometers with quite long distance in between the pegs and some big gaps in between the sections. So when you ask me about the venue, I can talk about 2 or 3 different venues. Yeah. Actually. This A section and the section up, the E, is full of fish. The middle sections are more difficult, especially the shallow areas. So it will be, as I see now, it's only Thursday, but as I see now, it will be minimum 2 or 3 type of fishing what we have to do to have a good result. Okay. You've been here for 1 week or have you been longer than 1 week?
We
arrived 10 days ago. Yeah. We practiced out of the venue, which was quite similar concerning the size and the type of the fish, but it was totally different concerning the bottom and the current. We were fishing on a moving water, and now it's more or less like a lake. Yeah. But at least we had an idea about the elastic, the hook size, the line size, what we need for the match.
What weights have you been averaging in the week, each angler?
As I mentioned, there are different areas, and in the good areas we are okay to go up to 10 kilos, as we see now. Actually, we never had an end box or an end peg, so we don't know how the Belgian guys can catch 20-something kilos a couple of boxes away. But this 10 kilos seems to be quite okay in the areas where we fished. Maybe we will be surprised, positive or negative way at the weekend, but at the moment that's what we can do.
Okay. Would you say the sections are fair within the sections? Are they fair?
I would like to say yes, but I can't.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely not, mainly because of the difference in the depth, but for some other reasons as well. We find sometimes 2 or 3 guys of our team, we fish totally the same way. We know each other for 10 or 15 years. We know that it should be the same result at the end, and we find that there are some big differences. We don't know the reason yet, but it seems that when the match starts, when the training session starts at 10:30, there is a group of fish on some pegs, and some other pegs, the fish are not there. In the last hour, we catch all the same, but in the first 2 hours, not.
Okay.
And this way, I couldn't say that it's even for everybody.
And what species of fish will play the main role this weekend?
Yeah, we can talk about 4 species. The most important is the carp. Not only the weight of the carp, but the number of the carp is growing as well. So it will be a carp match, definitely. There are some carassios. We look to them as a bonus fish because in the beginning there has been 5, 6, 7 carassios per person, per an angler. At the moment we can catch 1 or 2 in a 3-hour session because the carp, I would say, disturb or take the food in front of them. Catfish is everywhere, but they are not so big and not so aggressive. They feed quite soft, quite careful, and for this reason you cannot catch a big weight of them. You have to wait with the bite, and you cannot use an aggressive tackle. And there is the bleak. Bleak is, as we see, maybe we are not right again, but as we see, it's less and less every day. Definitely you can catch a few kilos. Even in an hour you can catch 2 or 3 kilo if you have a good hour, but I still expect the match as a carp match.
The carp, yeah. Have you had the same situation? Have the carp been in this section today? Have they been there throughout the session, or have they moved in at the last hour like we have seen down on the lower sections?
All the venue we can say as a significant fact that most of the fish has been caught in the last 1 hour.
Yeah.
In the last hour you catch more in the second half. So even the last half an hour will change a lot of things on the match, it's for sure. You can be in the middle, I mean in the result, in the middle of the section, even the last few anglers after 2 hours, and you can win the match in the last hour, it's for sure.
Oh. Have you found a way to select the bigger fish when they're there?
We tried some bigger rig, I mean bigger hook and more bait on. Several worms like an octopus, but if it's too aggressive, not so many bites. So at the moment we are not sure. We are not sure how to choose the big ones. We catch everything what comes, but big one coming as well. So it's not
Looking
so bad.
forward to the weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait. I would be happy if we would start tomorrow. Actually.
What teams would you say we need to watch this weekend? What teams, apart from the normal favourites, Belgium, Italy, have been practicing often? Have you had the opportunity to fish here before this practice session?
We had, but we never tried, and very easy to say why. A couple of weeks ago, this World Championship was still in Ciudad Real.
Yep.
So it's something very new for us, and there was a match, an open match, the Coarse Cup, but we had a serious Hungarian competition, a part of the national individual championship. We can't miss that. So it was no chance to come, unfortunately. Concerning the teams, we have to watch them, not on the weekend, but during the week. And we watched Belgium, we watched English, Italy and Spain. These are the 4 favorite teams for us. We would say that if we can beat all of them, then almost sure that we win. So that's what we say.
Okay.
But I can't say something like sometimes you can, that if somebody beats Italy, he's the world champion. I don't think so. Italy, Belgium, England and Spain are the 4 favorites for us, and we try to be in between them somewhere. Hey guys.
Thank you very much for taking time, and all the best for the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
We try our best.
Okay. Thank you. As Walter just mentioned, the Belgians were catching 20 kilograms plus on Section A on Thursday, and here we are with Guido Nollens and his team. As you can see, we have already reached that 40-degree mark, and I can tell you personally, it's very hot indeed. Over the next few minutes, we'll see why this section has been named Big Fish section. These so-called big fish, which go up to 6 kilograms, take time to play. In fact, a little later we'll show you a fish that took over 30 minutes to land. Of course, we'll not show you the whole coverage, just the highlights. Give them a smack. Pull a bung. This fish has just been lost after 6.5 minutes. It's best to get a feel for these powerful wild fish now. On the weekend, a fish of this calibre can cost a lot of points.
Eric, there's something taking your elastic away.
And now we'll see Gert Jacobs from Belgium taking his time and taking it easy. Like we saw with the last angler, Gert is using a so-called puller bung system. The puller bung enables you to pull your elastic tighter after unshipping your top kit. The advantage is that you can use lighter elastics for small carp, but tighten it for netting any bonus carp. This means you don't need to play and net big carp on your top 5s or 6, which leads to better control, faster netting and less pole breakages. As trainer for your nation, it is compulsory to keep an eye on these chaps over the training week. These anglers have been in the international business a long time, and no matter where you place them, they always come to terms with any venue they are faced with. Each angler has 5 minutes balling in time prior to each session. Over these 5 minutes, we'll watch Will Raisin balling it in on a 13-metre line and the 8-metre line for bleak. Will throws 13 balls on the 13 metres. Will throws 13 balls on the little shorter line tip. But the pole is not yet at full length. The extension comes on when Will starts 13 balls on the 13 metre. We'll be looking at his feed mix a little later in this video. Will throws 13 metres on the 13 metres, but as you see, he throws a little shorter as the tip, and the pole is not yet at full length. The extension Here, Will throws the first feed for the bleak. This consists of sensor surface and red Trasix. Trasix is a red cloudy attractor that pulls the bleak into the swim. Sticky maggot and gravel is being cupped out. Top right is Des' ship. Des is catapulting feed on the Waggler at 25 metres. The Waggler seemed a good option in the first hour.
Ganz hinten. Quatsch. Warte, ich spreche nicht sogar. Ja, zu dem Futter, was wir hier benutzen, wir haben hier zwei Komponenten. Einmal den Bereich, wo wir Ukelais fischen müssen. Dort wird das ganz normale Ukelei-Futter benutzt. Dieses Ukelei-Futter kann man hier in zwei verschiedenen Varianten einsetzen. Einmal mit Erde, damit man schneller ins tiefere Wasser kommt, um die größeren Ukelais tiefer zu fangen. Oder an der Oberfläche, dass das Futter auseinander spritzt, um kleine Fische oben zu halten. Und die größeren Ukelais halten sich knapp unter der Wasseroberfläche auf. Das ist so ein Bereich zwischen 30, 40 Zentimeter, während das schwerere Futter dann weiter tiefer bei 1 Meter geangelt wird. Wir haben noch nicht rausbekommen, was das Allerbeste ist. Wir steigern uns eher in diese Tendenz rein, das Futter an die Oberfläche zerplatzen zu lassen, um eine große Fläche zu haben, um viele Fische zu aktivieren, weil jeder Sektor hier ganz unterschiedlich ist. Die Sektoren an sich, teilweise Flachwasser, tiefes Wasser, mehr Ukelei, weniger Ukelei, das ist eigentlich unser Hauptproblem, dass wir bis heute noch nicht wissen, welche Techniken wir einsetzen. Selbst innerhalb der Sektoren ist es unterschiedlich, ob man weiter außen oder weiter in dem Sektor drin sitzt. In manchen Bereichen kommen größere Fische schneller eingelaufen, wo man das mit Ukelais nicht kompensieren kann, während andere Bereiche in den ersten 3 Stunden nur 1, 2 große Fische bringen, die vielleicht 3, 4 Kilo bringen mit ein paar Katzenfischen zusammen und wo man mit Ukelei ganz bequem 7 Kilo fangen kann. Und von daher ist es schwer, das Richtige zu machen, auch im Rhythmus. Wenn man die Ukelais befüttert, darf man keine Fehlzeiten haben. Das heißt, man muss ständig unter Futter bleiben und kann nicht nebenbei die anderen Fische befüttern. Mit der Startfütterung alleine reicht das nicht aus, wozu wir gleich zu den Startfütterungen für die großen Fische kommen. Wir benutzen hier einen Mix aus Karpfen fein. Das ist ein relativ gut bindendes Futter. Und dazu kommt noch das Karauschenfutter. Das Karauschenfutter in Verbindung mit dem Karpfen ist das eine. Wir haben eine sehr starke Bindung, aber ein sehr aktives Futter, was ständig am Brodeln ist. Das heißt nicht, dass grobe Partikel aufsteigen und wieder runterfallen, sondern das Futter ist ganz fein aktiv. So fast wie Sauerstoffblasen unter Wasser ist das Futter ständig in Bewegung und das lockt die Karauschen und die Karpfen besonders gut. Und wenn man dieses Futter zum Start einbringt, wird es eigentlich sehr stark komprimiert, dass man sehr feste Ballen hat. Dazu gehört noch etwas Mais mit zu. Diese Ballen werden zum Start eingesetzt, die dann wirklich 3 Stunden lang ihre Arbeit tun. Ständig ist es am Arbeiten und wenn die großen Fische kommen, können die in das Futter rein, um sich die groben Partikel wie die Maiskörner rausnehmen. Das ist aber nicht das Allerwichtigste. Das Allerwichtigste sind die Maden, die wir einsetzen müssen. Und die geklebten Maden einzubringen, das ist eigentlich der I-Punkt. Es gibt noch etwas anderes. Wir sind noch dabei, mit den geschnittenen Würmern und Mückenlarven und Erde zu arbeiten, weil der Katzenwels hier auch nicht ganz ohne ist. Es gibt eigentlich die Möglichkeit, dass man die Matchroute weiter draußen auf die Katzenfische angelt, gelegentlich noch einen Karpfen und eine Karausche mitfängt und dann in der Halbzeit zu der Kopfroute wechselt, wo dann die größeren Fische kommen. Wenn das alle funktioniert, das ist ein ganz einfaches Angeln, aber es ist eben so, dass manchmal die großen Fische nicht kommen und dann stellt man sich ganz hinten an. Und deswegen ist die Angelei auf den Ukelei auch sehr wichtig. Und das ist die Problematik, wo wir noch nicht wissen, was wir einsetzen sollen. Ansonsten mit dem Futter, denke ich, sind wir auf dem richtigen Weg. Nur welche Technik die richtige ist, das wird sich am Sonntag zeigen.
Whether France were on the right track? In a short interview with Silvia de Diego, Silvia explained that the problem the team were having with the carp. France, like Germany, do not have commercial fisheries, and natural waters do not hold the carp in the quantities that we see here on the Guadiana. Therefore, they just do not have the experience, like for example the home nations of Great Britain. France will probably fish a bleak tactic and concentrate on gathering weight this way, explains Silvia, a tactic that has worked well for France over the years. By our observations, it didn't look like Didier Delannoy had a problem with the carp. Gildo Nullens from Belgium asked us to take some footage of him fishing with a t-shirt on. Here you go, Gildo. Or was it with a fish on? Amongst the top favourites this weekend are the chaps from Italy. This team were already on the venue last month where the International Colmic Cup took place. They were 5 days here and apparently did very well. Let's have a quick chat with former world and European champion Jacopo Falsini. You have to help me with this name, Englishman and Italian name. Wait, Jacopo Falsini. Perfect. Jacopo Falsini, Team Italy, also known the man behind Colmic in Italy. And would you tell us a few impressions from the water, from the venue?
I think that it's a nice venue.
Yeah.
There are a lot of type of fishing. We can choose with a match or the long pole for carp or on the short for bleak. And I think that it will be very difficult to understand the way during the match to follow the right way. Because at the beginning, during the training, we didn't catch a lot of big fish, just in the last hour. So I think that we have to see where we will be in the section. If we are in the middle of the beginning or the end of the section, I think there will be more big fishes. So we are not sure, but we have to talk tonight. But we will prepare the match road about 25 meters for catfish, and we hope some carp and the long pole and the whips and the short pole for bleak.
Okay. I normally ask other teams now where they get their information, but Italy, a few of you guys, was you here with Belgium here last month?
Yeah. Last month.
How was fishing then? Was it better, more fish?
Totally different.
Totally different.
There were no bleak, any one bleak here, and just mule hybrid and carasses. So I think that the fishing is changed.
Yeah. And when you go out fishing for the bleak, during the session we hear that in the last hour the big fish come into the swim. How will you decide whether to stop fishing for bleak?
We have a big staff behind us, so they know our position in the sector, and if we choose to start the bleak, we continue to fish the bleak until we lose too much position. If we lose, if the big fish come in the swim and we lose some position, I think that we have to change the tactic. We have to go for the big fish.
Okay, but if you just fish for the 3 hours for bleak and no sign of the big fish, you still are going to catch a big weight with just bleak?
Today I fish for 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I have near 5 kilos of bleak.
That's very good. So you're looking at 6.5, 7 kilos in 3 hours.
Yes, but I catch two carp. So the last half hour. So it's not so easy. It's not so easy.
So it's going to be a big risk. A good team. You need a good team behind you. Yeah.
I think that it's very important. The guide behind us.
Have you decided on who will start fishing tomorrow? Which 5 anglers?
Gabba, Sorti, Ballabeni, Defendi, and me.
Okay, good. We wish you all the best for the weekend.
Thank you.
And thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Portugal were also participants of the International Colmig Cup and are regular visitors to this river, which incidentally also runs through their country. With the border only some 50 kilometres away, surely Portugal belong in the top favourite list. In training on Thursday they definitely caught their fish, but this was in the big fish section A. Ah, the Swiss cowboys have arrived in town. And here we have the current world champion from Russia, Mr. Igor Popotov. Was that a Russian swear word?
Ja, Mensch. Ja, Grammzahlen hier an dem Gewässer benutzen wir von 4x14 bis 1,5 Gramm, je nachdem wie stark der Wind ist und halt die Ukeleis halt hier aktiv sind. Wenn die Ukeleis nicht da sind, nehmen wir halt hier 4x14. Haben wir hier eine Kette mit 10er Schroten, die oben hin enger sind und nach unten hin immer weiter auseinander sind. Dass halt die Absinkphase sehr langsam ist, weil die Fische reagieren hier sehr aufs Anheben, fallen lassen, anheben, fallen lassen. Da ist es wichtig, die Bebleiung sauber, dass sie sauber absinken kann. 20er Hauptschnur. Denke ich mal, nach den letzten Tagen sind wir auf die 20er Hauptschnur gegangen, weil die Fische doch enorm kräftig hier sind. Zwischen 16er und 18er Vorfachschnur. Hakengröße haben wir zwischen 16 und 12. Relativ stabile Haken, weil heute habe ich mal wieder am eigenen Leibe erfahren, dass sie dir einfach den Haken aufbiegen, die Biester. Ansonsten, hier ist die schwerere Montage. Ist von der Bebleiungsart identisch, nur halt alles schwerer. Dass man halt nur, wenn die Windphase größer ist, stärker ist, zentriert auf den Punkt noch fischen kann. Weil das Leichte ist nachher dann zu unkontrolliert, beziehungsweise wenn die Ukeleis am Platz sind, genau das gleiche Spiel. Dann ist es besser, erstmal schnell vorbeizukommen und dann wird halt die Grammzahl genommen. Was noch ein Vorteil oder wichtig ist, sind Posen mit Innenführung. Das ist hier sehr wichtig, weil die Fische teilweise, wenn sie richtig kräftig nach außen schwimmen und du ihn eventuell verlierst oder so, oder durch die Schläge, reißen sie dir da die Öse raus. Deswegen sind Innenführungen sehr wichtig. Hohlantennen, dass du sie sensibel ausbleiben kannst zur Halb. Hier, wo das Schwarze halt ist, wird sie ausgebleicht, dass du die leichten Tuckbisse siehst von den Karauschen. Und beim Karpfen ist nachher eh egal, aber bei den Karauschen, das ist wichtig, dass man halt diesen kleinen Anzupfer sieht. Und Kohlefaser auch wichtig, dass das Spiel von der Absinkfaser fällt anders ab, er stellt sich, du siehst im Absinken die Bisse besser durch den Kohlefaserkiel. Und wenn leichter Wellengang ist, hast du durch den Kohlefaserkiel auch immer eine leichte Bewegung drin, der den Köder immer attraktiv, ohne dass man damit arbeiten muss, in Bewegung bringt. Dicke Gummis, Hohlgummis von 2,0 bis 2,5 werden hier eingebaut. Teilweise über 4 Teile, damit halt die Fluchten wirklich abgefangen werden von den großen Fischen, weil der größte, den ich hier gefangen habe, 3 Kilo, was ich gesehen habe von den Leuten hier auch nur 3 Kilo, aber es sind hier Fische drin bis 5 Kilo und die hältst du nicht mit einem dünnen Gummi. Tja, die Matchroute, auch noch eine Option, aber allerdings nur in meinen Augen für die erste Stunde.
And this is the Czech manager. He's made himself comfortable and receives a front row demonstration on bleak fishing from England international Des Ship. Des is under enormous pressure during training. As he would tell us himself in a minute, Team England consists of 5 superb anglers and himself. Every angler does his utmost best to compete in the starting 5. It almost seems that the championships themselves play second fiddle. So you and the team now been here for 2 weeks now, haven't it?
Nearly, just under, yeah.
You want to tell us your views on the?
It's a good venue, I think. I think it's going to come down to bleak fishing, and I think there'll be a little bit of waggler fishing involved. I think it just depends whether people can catch bleak or not. Like today, I've caught 6 kilos odd of bleak. So, but you know, if someone catches a big carp and a couple of hundred bleak, they're going to beat you. But it's whether they catch this big carp. So it's a very technical match. To be honest, there's lots of things that can happen. But it's a good venue, and hopefully it'll take the pressure after the last week and it'll fish well Saturday and Sunday.
Right. Oh. Have the bleak been there all the whole 2 weeks, or are they
No, they're in certain areas. There's a couple of areas we fished the last couple of days, and we've struggled to catch them.
Yeah.
This is obviously quite a good area today, but you just don't know. I think a lot of the teams are going to feed for bleak and see if they're there. If they're not there, they're going to fish a waggler and a 13-metre pole.
But if the bleak are there, you're going to be catching weights, holding with people?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, today I've had 6 kilos 400, and most, I think, I've beat a couple, but that's because they've had the people that have had a couple of big carp.
Yeah.
Now, if them carp are small, you beat them. So it's a bit of it's a bit of up and down. So. But it's going to be a technical match. Look, it's got sections of 16. So you'll obviously have your bank walkers going up and down, and we know how many bleak are a kilo, and the bank walkers have to play a major part tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. So you're deciding when to break up your bleak technique
Exactly.
and go for
If
the
they
big.
say, well, hang on, you know, you just carry on bleaking or come off the bleak and fish for some carp.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, you know.
It's quite a risky tactic,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Right.
But to win, sometimes you've got to take your chances.
Yeah. Yeah. So and we can see what colour the feed is here.
Bit of
Yellow.
red- bit of
It's
red-
just a problem with the camera.
Bit of red wine.
Would you say the stretch? Yeah, we've just been over the section. Would you say it's fair? Is it going to be a peggy draw or?
As you can see, as we can see down this way, there's a
Yeah.
big bay. We fished in that area on Wednesday, and it was difficult.
Yeah.
You know, the people that were in the bay really struggled. As you go out round the point, there was more big fish, more carp, more crassio. In the bay, there seems to be a lot of catfish, and that area seems to have no bleak.
Yeah.
But with the 16 pegs now, because the sections are cut in half, I think it makes it a little bit more fairer.
Yeah.
You know, if it was 30 odd pegs, and there was like maybe 20 in the bay, that can't compete with the rest of the section out of the bay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'd be quite a good World Championships.
Yeah, good. And, yeah, a lot of people here saying that the fishing is quite well here. Yeah. Any news? Will you be starting for England tomorrow morning?
Yes.
You are?
Thankfully, yes.
Oh, there you heard it.
Yes.
First on German champions team. So you're fishing?
I am fishing.
That's good
yeah,
news,
it's
isn't it?
good news.
Good
yeah,
news.
good
When
news.
did you find out about that?
About 5 minutes ago.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
So, yeah, and you know, it's very difficult in our team, as you can understand. You know, you got
Yeah.
five really good anglers in me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a result. It's
Yeah.
very difficult because we got to try different things during the week.
Yeah.
And if you do the wrong thing on the wrong day, then you don't catch any fish, and it probably goes against you in a
Yeah.
way.
All right.
So yeah, it's a good result for me.
Right, then. Des, thanks for taking
No
time out to
problem.
talk to us,
No
and all the
probs.
best for the weekend.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks very
Thanks a
much.
lot. Okay, see ya.
mate.
Yeah, ta-ra.
Oh, that was good news starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I thought I messed up, to be honest.
Yeah?
I should have caught more bleak.
This year, each section is split into two. The reason is to make the sections fairer, but with more points to be had, it opens things up a little wider. Last year, by the World Championships in Almere, Holland, each section was split into three, which didn't go down too well with many of the teams. This year, though, halving the sections seemed a good compromise.
How much is that?
6. 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And this.
Okay.
This is 5.
Okay.
You happy with your draw?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I hope the carp will there.
Yeah, I hope so too. Have fun.
Thank you.
The anglers have 2 hours to set up prior to the start of each session. During these 2 hours, each angler will have his bait controlled. The international rules for coarse fishing, SIPS, allows a ground bait limit of 17 litres. Corn, lean, soil, gravel, sticky mag, separator, etc. all belongs in this 17 litres. On average, the anglers split this limit into 9 to 10 litres for the pole and match rod, and around 6 litres for the bleak. If an angler exceeds the limit, he can receive a yellow card and 5-point deduction from the team score. 2 yellow cards in a weekend will result in a disqualification. These situations, though, are rarely needed. The bait limit is 2.5 litres. From this 2.5 litres, you're allowed a maximal of 1 litre of joker, but for this World Championship, the limit has been deducted to 500 millilitres of joker. All bait must be placed in so-called SIPS containers. It allows the stewards a better overview.
¿Quién está aquí con él?
Don't pay attention.
No, tú estás aquí, chico, tú estás aquí con él.
Right, we've got everything in our official book.
Lo que se vea, el resto nada, ¿eh?
10 litres then. How's your draw, mate?
We don't really know.
5 or...
But we've just had a lot of arguments over the beers.
What about?
The Hungarians are set right back on 2 sections. 10. What's in that bucket there? Well, is that?
6.
Okay. Okay.
As we just heard, Will has 10 litres of feed for the pole and match rod and 6 litres of bleak mix. Will's ground bait for the bleak is very wet, something that we haven't seen by any other nations. Also, England's dead maggot approach seems strange to some teams. After the bait limits are passed, anglers may now prepare baits for the session. No more bait or ground bait are to enter the anglers' boxes after controls. Ground baits are only allowed to be lightly sprayed with water during fishing, and only lightly.
Ahora abre la parte de arriba, busca una bolsa y es fugir. Venga, ves echándole en un lado. Tira del papel. Vale. Y ahora el otro, ¿verdad? Vale. Cógete un poquito de tierra y actívalo ya y ya te lo metes en el pan. Un poquito solo.
We'll be concentrating today on section D with Marco Beck. Marco has drawn peg D6, and here we can see all those left of him.
Ja, ich habe hier einen ganz besonders schönen Platz. Links neben mir ist ein Ausflussrohr. Das heißt, alles, was von der Stadt kommt, fließt hier rein. Der Boden ist absolut glatt und so schwach nach draußen abfallend und ein weicher Boden. Das hatten wir im Training nie. Wir hatten im Training immer nach draußen einen tiefer werdenden festen Boden. Und ich denke, dass das hier der ganze Dreck von der Stadt ist. Das kann positiv sein oder negativ. Ich weiß es nicht. Wir lassen uns einfach mal überraschen. Ich setze mein Futter so einen 3/4 Meter kürzer und setze direkt on top auf die 13 Meter die geklebten Maden ab, um dann dort die Karpfen und Karauschen zu fangen. Ich werde starten mit der Rolle am Slider. Ich habe hier in dem Bereich im Training auch größere Fische gleich zum Start bekommen in den ersten 10 Minuten. Ich hoffe, das funktioniert. Und wenn nicht, geht das eben auf die U-Gleise und dann im richtigen Wechsel. Und ich hoffe, dass ich nachher ein paar dicke Fische an die Angel bekomme. Ich weiß nicht, ob es funktioniert, aber das ist das Risiko. Mit dem Kapitän ist abgesprochen. Ich soll es so machen. Und damit habe ich den Rückhalt. Und wenn es nicht klappt, bin ich nicht der Doofe.
The Belgian, Gert Jacobs, and the Italian Sorti have drawn directly on Marco's right side. With Will raising on D14, this is not going to be an easy section. Our cameras follow the crowd to D14, where Will has been fishing 13 metres for the first 15 minutes. But he is keeping the ground bait for the bleak going in at around 8 metres.
I know, he was very confident, Will.
No, there's no bleak coming out up there. The Croatian Verez to Will's left has a carp of 4 to 5 pounds on. When your neighbour manages a bonus fish in the first half an hour, that can't do much good for your confidence. No, he's got it.
No round of applause.
Will shows no reaction. He has decided to go for the bleak. This is where you see differences in top anglers and anglers top of their field. The Germans have a saying that the best machines make the best bleak anglers, and here we see the gears set into motion. Highly concentrated, uninterested in what is going on around him, Will gets his head down for some bleak bashing, until his manager or bank runner tells him otherwise. Back down on D6, Marco has managed a good carp and a few catfish on the match rod and has found more catfish on the 13 metres. Gerd to his right has found the bleak and we see a little mini competition going on. Although not one of the biggest carp, at this time in the session a bonus fish. The boards behind each angler tells you not just the name and the nation, but the number of fish caught each hour. This can be a little misleading though. Unless you're stood behind an angler the whole time, then you don't know whether the angler has 16 bleak or 16 carp. In this case though, I can tell you Marco has a carp of around a kilo, a small carp and catfish. Jacobs and Sorty both have bleak, so Marco is ahead after the first hour in this corner. And now a quick look at the other half of section D, pegs 17 to 32. Here with the grey hat on, our friend from Denmark, Flemming Eriksson on peg D30. On his right, D31 the Spaniard, and then peg D32 is Darren Frost from Wales. D25 the Dutch angler. It seems a little quiet on D27 with Gourmet from Portugal. The Spanish team is decided on a number of qualification rounds. The last and final round to decide who would fish for Spain took place on this stretch just 3 weeks ago. That, along with a good crowd of spectators, a good draw, surely a winning combination. And here we witness a fine demonstration of bleak fishing from French international Stéphane Pozelet. Maybe the French tactic of small fish is going well. Walking back down lower D section, we found Dragos Polta on D10 with a stretched elastic. He's been playing this fish for 5 minutes now.
Yo creo que se acaba a la 1:30.
And here we find Senor Sorti has also found the bigger fish. It looks like the big fish has also drawn away the spectators from Will Raisin. Will was now, with the last hour upon us, going for the big uns, and then this happens. From D14, Will's peg, we see Marco down on D6. His third section of the top kit has broken clean through, and has slid down the elastic and the rig to his float. But the fish, and it looks like a good one, is still on.
A large stick float. Sean hated that. Just as I was there, and I think it was when he was sponsored by Press. He asked me to not take photos. And it happened to this. It's amazing that elastic hasn't cut through the broken bit, isn't it?
No, that's right.
A small applause signals that Marco has landed the fish.
He's got it.
Yeah. Yeah, but what's he going to do for his next trip?
In this video, we have seen the German method of playing and landing fish. It's a method no other country has been seen using this weekend. Standing up, walking back 10 metres into the box, coming forward to net the fish seems a strange technique. And so I asked Marco and Stéphane Pozelet of Team Germany the reasons behind this method. First of all, explains Marco, there are probably better and safer ways to play these carp. But in Germany we have no or very little knowledge of carp fishing in the match community. Marco first saw this method being used by Jean Desquet in a match in Paris many years ago.
Jean had hooked a very good bream in the final minutes and did a version of what we do here. He landed the bream very quickly. At first, many, myself included, thought this was a little funny. But after chatting with Jean and many years of using it when circumstances allow, it's a method I am very confident of. Stefan Posselt explains why. The main reason we use it today is not to land a fish quickly, but to draw fish away from the feed quickly, and so not to disturb the feed or the other fish that may be still there. When you walk backwards, the angle between the pole and the elastic is greater as when you're stationary on your box. With a greater angle, you are pulling the fish along the bottom and not upwards towards the surface where we know the fish do not want to go, and will fight more to stay down. Of course you do have upwards pull too, but not as great as when you stood still. When we are back in the box, we will then replace sections from the pole, making the angle even greater. When the fish surface, we go forward to net them. Marco and Stefan both say that landing the fish with this method is not really quicker. But after spending 4 days with the team, my opinion is that it is quicker. Of course the team lose fish, but other teams with other methods lost fish too. Like Marco back then in Paris, a few spectators and journalists, myself included, did frown upon this unusual method, but I bet a few of them will be giving it a go back home. This signal indicates that just 5 minutes remain till the end of the session.
Oh, der ist zu groß. Der ist zu groß. Der ist zu groß, der geht nicht.
Marco sticks to his word, and with just 90 seconds remaining claims that this one is too big to land in that time.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Super. Das ist auch Feierabend.
Also jetzt geht doch, Alter.
Nee, jetzt geht ja.
Machine!
On the last blast of the horn, what's in the net you can keep. What's still in the water must be returned after landing. The scales are brought to peg 1 of each section. Here on D1 the Scot James Woodrow with 8,100 grams, which gave him a third in section and 3 points for Team Scotland.
Yo le paso alta. ¿Cómo puede ser? Hombre, que no...
Marco was the only angler to begin with the match rod, and in doing so gave him a good start in the session. Sticky maggot, chopped worm and plenty of loose-fed corn brought Marco good fish throughout the session, especially in the last 2 hours. Germany's national trainer Peter König and Marco's bank runner for today saw many anglers disregard the 13-metre line in the first 2 hours after the initial balling in. Hardly any other anglers continued topping up this line and concentrated on catching bleak. Peter thinks today on this part of the section a huge mistake.
Sí, gusta, una copa. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Dónde vamos ahora? Para atrás, creo que era pesado libre, aquí para atrás.
Okay. Don't worry.
5,800. 5,800 we just heard from Will Raisin. 5,800 is the weight of Sorti the Italian and Will's left neighbour the Croatian Ferez. If Will beats these two guys, then it's 5 points and a guaranteed start for Team England tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you going to be long with this guy?
With just 100 grams less, Will receives 7th position and 7 points for England. John, the father of Will, is busy working out where Will stands, and more importantly, where England stands. Jean Desquet and Steve Gardner have come down to see how Will has done. They are discussing how to catch bleak on the River Guadiana.
Every time the same mistake. Every time.
It really is the same hook.
Yeah, but it's a mistake.
Alan's got. Alan
If I'm with you in the practice, I'm sure everybody's fishing 16 because I'm sure.
Well, somebody just told me as well.
And also, and after when you make this,
not so much ground weight.
Yeah.
Too much ground
Yes,
weight.
yes, yes.
Just a little.
Yes.
Weight.
Yes. Just wait.
Catch
Yes.
fish.
You need to catch one bleak each minute. It's like fishing.
Crazy way we said today that we should. Yeah. I knew it straight away.
Remember this. More. Well, win. It's good.
No.
21.
No, my dad.
21. 21, John.
So let's look at how the other sections went. In section C, Germany's René Bredebeck was finding the going hard. René drawed an end peg, but unfortunately the wrong end. With a bad draw and lack of fish, René ended the day 12th in section. The Swiss angler André Forny on peg C24 was testing his equipment to the extreme. Apart from Marco's breakage on the pole and André breaking his landing net handle, we saw and heard of no other damage to kit over the 4 days. Amazing with these powerful fish. The Hungarian on C29 takes 5 points away for the team. This is Joe Adriano on peg C19. As we arrive, Joe has already been playing this fish for 20 minutes. And in 20 minutes, a big crowd can gather. 5.6 kilograms and the biggest fish at the World Championships 2010. I think Joe is still grinning now. We were just about to head off when 10 minutes after landing the last fish, Joe is on to another. Speed fishing a la carp.
You can go home now, Joe. You can go home now.
Germany's Stefan Possard lost 2 carp in the first hour, one of which Stefan guessed at being between 3 to 5 kilograms, and then another with just minutes remaining. Finishing third and only 730 grams behind the section winner, Stefan was a little disappointed, but still 3 points a good result.
No, fuerte, coño. Mira.
And here the section winner, Stefan's left neighbour, Jackie Belliard.
Winner.
At the other end of this section, England's most crowned angler with 10 gold medals, Steve Gardner. Steve managed a respectable 4 points from peg E21. The pegs 29, 30, 31 all finished bottom of the section. The Dutchman on E30 finished rock bottom, a result that the angler and the team didn't really deserve. End peg E32 wasn't letting any fish through and took 3 valuable points away for Italy, Forreggio Gabba. Frank Visa finished a disappointing 11th in A section and 11 points for Germany. Frank had a bad 2 hours at the start of the session and was probably near the bottomless score sheet. With a half decent last hour, Frank managed to salvage a few points by catching a few of the bigger residents. B section saw Germany's Ralf Hedlichke, again with a disappointing result. Ralf managed to catch the most fish in his section, but unfortunately Ralf's carp weighed only around a 200 gram mark, while those around him managed to catch carp around the 2 kilo mark.
Mark, thanks for having a quick word with us. I know you're busy today. The team yesterday, they had a good day. They had a very good day yesterday. Can you give us a quick summary how it went?
Yes. First of all, we are fishing 3 disciplines. One is bleak, 30 metres and slider. And it depends on the angler and what's happening in his zone. And we have to look at this, the runners and the anglers themselves. We're doing 15 minutes on the long pole after the initial bombardment. Yeah. And then it's either bleak if they're catching around you, or slider. Now that is a decision that we make, myself and Mark and Dick, and then we tell the anglers what to do.
Where are England standing in the team classifications after yesterday?
We are winning today by 2 points from Scotland and 6 points or 6.5 from Italy.
Okay, individuals not looking too good, so I imagine you're going for a team, concentrating on a team gold today.
Individuals don't really count for England. Obviously, 1 point is better than 10.
Yeah.
So if you have an individual winner, it's good. But we don't necessarily need individual winners. We need team goals.
There's a lot of unexpected teams in the top 10. I think you agree. Does that make England's chances better?
Well, I wouldn't say it makes them better. I wish all the teams were further back in points. But if you look at now at our own nations of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, we've all done well because it's a lot of carp fishing. And that's the reason.
Yeah. Have you changed the team today?
Well, yes, Williams dropped out. He was 7th yesterday. We made a rule that anyone above 5 points would have to drop out, and Stuart's in this time.
And considering Will, the strongness of Will, although Stu Conroy, I think it doesn't matter what team you put together, they're a top team.
Well, we try to keep it a top team. If you notice over the last few years, it's an experienced team. We haven't changed it much. I know 1 or 2 of them are getting older, but it's a very experienced team, very good.
Yeah. Then we wish you all the best. This isn't actually the only championship going on today. There's a big game going on this afternoon. Will you get time to watch it?
I don't know. We might get there late, but I think we'll watch a little bit of it on the television.
It's England against Germany in the what's it called? The 8th finals, or what we call in Germany. This, what your prediction for the results?
3-1 England, easy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. No
Cheers,
problem.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark. No problem. I told you that all week.
Day 2 of the World Championships. Unfortunately, Mark Addy didn't get that result right, but will he get it right today? Big Fish Section A, and we're here with England's 6th man, Stu Conroy. Stu has drawn a super peg today, A17 end peg, and a peg that produced the winner yesterday, with over 15 kilograms for Victor Ruman from Bulgaria. But making sure that Stu doesn't have it too easy, his neighbour Ian Hughes from Wales is joining him. Ian also had a section win yesterday from middle of C section. Ian and Stu incidentally fished for the same club together back in England. Wales are 4th in the table after day 1, and Ian himself up for an individual medal. There will be no favours given today.
That's the only problem. And Ireland on the other end.
Just 10 minutes into the session and it's 1-0 for Wales. Of course, Stu isn't taking any of it and hooks into something larger. But here we see Ian's pole being shipped back. Both anglers are into the fish from the off. Stu leaves the pole long while Ian opts for a puller bung system. I've been told that Stu Conroy and Alan Scotthorne are the only England internationals that don't use the puller bung system.
Nou, die man die wist ook niet licht, hè? Yes, well done, Ian. Brilliant.
Ian's right-hand neighbour is again our friend Gert Jacobs from Belgium. I think he's following us.
We are fifth at the moment, and we are 8 points behind the leaders, England. Now they will tough to beat, but you never know. 8 points is it is possible. You never know. Oh, we had some very good results. A section winner and 2 seconds, which is brilliant, of course. Then you're on your way to a first place. We also had one what was not good result. Couldn't have been a lot worse, but that's all part of the game, I suppose. And this is the difference between winning or being where we are at the moment, fifth. Yep. We've had, as a team, because that's the first thing I look at, as a team we've had a good draw. The guy who won the section is in, yesterday, he's in the C section now, somewhere in the middle. It'll be tough for him to win the section. The people who got second have both drawn quite well, actually, so maybe there's some possibilities there. We will see.
And Holland's representative in A section is Dieter Friedrichs on 28. Ireland's angler Rory O'Neill on NPEG A32. Rory lost a few good fish in the first hour, but still managed to land a few. A section is some 2 kilometres from B section away, so yesterday we couldn't manage the journey here. The chaps that pay my plane ticket sent me here today to cover Germany's Marco Beck, with 1 point in his pocket and a chance for an individual medal. Marco is in lower A and hasn't had the best draw. Yesterday saw home nation Spain take 6 points from this peg. Even though Marco catches reasonably well in the first hour, it's difficult to tell where he lays. National trainer and bank runner again for Marco today is Peter Koenig. Peter has Marco's neighbours all down as quite even.
Schön, Marco.
Artur Kalka, section winner from yesterday, finished the session 6th from A14. The Italians' job today was to gain more points as their English counterparts. Jamie Mason put up a good show and took 1 point for Scotland and from smack bang middle in the section. Not only did he manage to catch the biggest weight today, but Jamie also managed to catch the highest weight this weekend with 28 kilos 220 grams. Eight, 11 and 11 points. Marco couldn't produce more, but managed to beat both his neighbours and with a couple of kilos too.
Super.
We were welcomed back to Upper A section by Stu Conroy and a rather stretched elastic. At the 2 hour mark, Stu's bank runners had Stu down slightly ahead of Ian Hughes. But they were a little more worried about the amount of fish being caught from the other end, in particular from the Dutch and the Irish angler.
Algo más de tres. The bank runners were right to be concerned about the other end, but Stu managed to first in section. Ian Hughes gave Stu a run for his money, but finished fourth in section. O'Neill, the Irishman on end peg 32, took 3 points away, and the Dutchman 2 points for Holland. Another end peg angler was Germany's Rolf Hedlichke, and improving on yesterday's result, 4 points for Germany. The 2009 world champion Igor Popatov improved even greater with a section win on E15, showing that he can still produce good results. D30 with Steve Gardner. Steve delivered an amazing performance in D section. With 14 kilograms, Steve caught 11.5 kilograms more than his left neighbour and 9 kilograms more than his right neighbour. An outstanding result.
the winner from Steve's section, Cathal Hughes from Ireland, and a good chance of an individual medal. And here we see from the final results, Italy did extremely well today with 16 points and finishing just 2.5 points behind England, a tight call indeed. Holland had that disappointing last place in Section E yesterday, but this is a young team with a very bright future.
Do it after, I'm going for a swim. Go on then, go for a swim then.
Championship trophy. Trofeo del Campeonato del Mundo por equipos entregado por Juan Claudio Matteoli.